The holographic display flickered in the command center of the Zynthian battle cruiser Dominance, casting an eerie blue glow across General Crix's segmented face. His compound eyes narrowed as he surveyed the debris field that had once been the human colony of New Terra. Another successful cleansing, he chittered to his second-in-command. The humans were foolish to establish settlements in Zynthian space. Beside him, Commander Vela nodded, her mandibles clicking in agreement. Their ships are primitive. Their weapons laughable. They pose no threat to the collective. 27 light-years away, aboard the human vessel Retribution, Elena stood before the main viewport, her jaw clenched so tightly it ached. The message had arrived 3 hours ago. New Terra. Population, 45,000. Status, total loss. Her younger brother had been there. His wife. Their 2 children. Captain. Emmett's voice broke through her thoughts. The tactical officer approached cautiously, knowing the storm brewing behind her dark eyes. We've plotted the course. The Zynthian fleet is still in the New Terra system, likely cataloging salvage. Elena turned to face her crew. 53 men and women, handpicked from the Terran Defense Force. Each had lost someone to the Zynthians' methodical expansion. Each had volunteered for this mission, knowing they might not return. How long, she asked. 18 hours at maximum slipspace velocity, Emmett replied. But Captain, they have 15 warships. We're alone out here. Command won't send reinforcements for. I didn't ask for reinforcements. Elena's voice could have cut steel. I asked how long. Emmett met her gaze and saw something that made him straighten his spine. Not rage. Not vengeance. Something colder. Something calculated. 18 hours, ma'am. Then we have 18 hours to prepare. Emmett, break out the Reaper protocols. A collective intake of breath swept through the bridge. The Reaper protocols were theoretical, weapons systems so devastating that their use had been banned by the Terran Council 3 years prior. The electromagnetic pulse cascades alone could fry every electronic system within 100,000 kilometers. Captain, the Reaper weapons are untested in actual combat, Emmett protested. An unauthorized deployment could mean court-martial. Elena smiled, but there was no warmth in it. Can't court-martial a corpse, Lieutenant. And if the Zynthians want to learn what happens when you push humanity too far, we'll be happy to provide the lesson. 18 hours later, the Dominance detected the incoming vessel. General Crix, we're reading a single human ship approaching at high velocity. The sensor operator reported. Designation, Retribution. It's a destroyer class, approximately 300 meters. Crix's mandibles spread in what passed for a Zynthian laugh. One ship? Transmit a warning. Tell them to surrender or be destroyed. But the Retribution didn't slow. It didn't respond to hails. It simply accelerated. Sir, they're not stopping. There. General, their weapons systems are powering up. Reading massive energy signatures. I've never seen anything like. The Retribution opened fire. The first Reaper missile struck the Dominance amidships. The electromagnetic cascade didn't just disable systems. It created a chain reaction that propagated through the Zynthian fleet's network defenses. Within seconds, 7 warships went dark, floating dead in space. All batteries, fire at will. Elena commanded. Emmett, deploy the Hellfire drones. From the Retribution's cargo base, 300 autonomous combat drones swarmed forth like angry hornets. Each carried enough explosive payload to cripple a cruiser. Each moved with the kind of erratic unpredictability that made targeting impossible. The Zynthian fleet, designed for overwhelming force against inferior opponents, had never encountered an enemy that fought with such calculated fury. They're tearing through our formations. Commander Vela shrieked. 3 more ships destroyed. General, we must retreat. But General Crix had spent 2 decades building the Zynthian collective's reputation on fear and dominance. We outnumber them 15 to 1. All ships, concentrate fire on that human vessel. Aboard the Retribution, proximity alarms screamed as plasma bolts converged on their position. Emmett's hands flew across his console, redirecting power to the forward shields. Shield integrity at 40%, he called out. Captain, we can't take much more of this. Elena's expression never changed. Then we don't need to take it. Activate the Ragnarok array. Emmett's eyes widened. The Ragnarok array was the most controversial weapon ever conceived by human engineers, a focused gravitational disruptor that could create temporary microsingularities. In simulations, it had a 30% chance of destroying the ship that fired it. Captain, that's suicide. No, Lieutenant. That's a promise. She opened a channel to the Xinthian flagship. General Crix of the Dominance. This is Captain Elena Chun of the Terran Defense Force. You destroyed New Terra. You killed 45,000 civilians. You wanted to know what human ships are capable of? Allow me to demonstrate. The Ragnarok array fired. Space itself seemed to scream. A point of infinite darkness appeared directly in the center of the Xinthian formation, and for 3 eternal seconds, 8 warships were crushed into a singularity no larger than a grain of sand before the micro-black hole evaporated in a flash of Hawking radiation. When the light cleared, only 2 Xinthian ships remained, their hulls scarred and systems failing. The Dominance was gone, compressed into oblivion along with General Crix's certainty. Elena slumped in her chair, exhausted. The Retribution was barely holding together, hull breaches on 7 decks, engines operating at minimal capacity. But they had survived. Emmett, open a channel. All frequencies, maximum broadcast range. Channel open, Captain. Elena stood, straightening her uniform. To all Xinthian forces, you came to New Terra and showed no mercy. You believed humans were weak, our ships primitive, our resolve fragile. Today, you learn the truth. Humanity doesn't start wars, but we finish them. Tell your collective what happened here. Tell them what happens when you make humans angry. Tell them about the Retribution. She cut the transmission and turned to her crew. Get us home. 3 weeks later, the Xinthian collective formally requested a ceasefire. The recording from New Terra, showing a single human destroyer annihilating 13 warships, had spread through every spacefaring civilization in the sector. The galaxy learned a lesson that day. Humanity was patient, humanity was forgiving, but humanity was not to be trifled with. And when pushed beyond reason, when their children were threatened, when their homes were destroyed, humans became the most dangerous force in the cosmos. Because humans, unlike so many other species, understood that sometimes survival required not just courage, but calculated, unflinching fury. The Retribution had delivered that message written in fire and gravity, and the galaxy would never forget.